Cotton, Textile and Garment Revitalization Initiative on the move. Federal government aims at providing over 500 hectares of land for cultivation. More houses for civil servants as federal government performs groundbreaking of housing estate in Abuja. And Nigerians speak against hoarding of fuel, appeal for government action. We bring you details of these and more on Panorama today from the Abuja studios. My name is Justin Bemunyi. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. President Bola Tinubu says good governance and other measures that will lead to the general happiness of Nigerians remain his topmost priorities. The president laid the emphasis as he received a group of Nigerian leaders of thought under the umbrella of the Patriots, led by former Secretary General of the Commonwealth, Chief Emeka Anyaoku. State House correspondent Musbao Wahab reports.
A clarion call is sounding again. The Patriots are here to answer. And perhaps the leaders of thought also have an urgent call for the Nigerian leader, all in the pursuit of a greater Nigeria. From the advantage position of experience as well as observation of global trends at an earlier national colloquium, we see a Nigerian situation calling for a timely action to protect Nigeria's unity in diversity.
The view was that Nigeria needs a new legitimate Nigeria People's Democratic Constitution. That the present constitution is illegitimate and cannot deal effectively with the myriad challenges facing this country. In other words, that our present governance system needs to be restructured.
In further recommendations, they suggest establishment of a national referendum and a national constituent assembly that will reconsider the existing constitution, report of the 2014 confab, as well as other similar national conferences.
The draft constitution produced by the Constituent Assembly, as I said, should be put to a national referendum, and if approved, should then be signed by the President as the genuine, legitimate Nigerian People's Constitution. I've listened to you carefully.
And though currently preoccupied with economic reform for greater prosperity of the country, President Tinubu equally believes in the necessity of the recommended reforms.
Avoidance of chaos is necessary to build this country and move its aspiration across the line for the benefit of all of us. I'm still preoccupied with thinking and tinkering with the economic reform. That's my first priority. Once I get that reform in place as soon as possible, then I look at other options.
The president assures of his commitment to good governance and unity of Nigeria.
I definitely want to assure you that whatever is necessary, I'll put happiness and good governance in the heart of all Nigerians. It's what I will do.
On the nationwide agitation by a section of Nigerians, the leaders advised federal and state governments to dialogue with leaders of the protest for a common solution. From the State House, Musbao Wahab, NTA News.
And President Bola Tinubu says the ECOWAS will continue to persuade the military leaders of Niger, Mali and Burkina Faso to return their nations to the fold. President Tinubu, who is the chairman of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government, reaffirmed this position at a meeting with ECOWAS Chiefs of Defense Staff on Friday in Abuja. The president said the priority of the authority is to ensure that security is enhanced and that constitutional government is defended and promoted in the region. He acknowledged that it has been a challenging tenure for him since 3 members indicated their exit, adding that the authority will work hard to persuade them to return whichever way. The ECOWAS chairman commended the defense chiefs for their commitment to regional stability and protection of constitutional governance. Chairman, ECOWAS Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, informed the president that the defense chiefs had agreed that challenges in the region, such as insurgency and unconstitutional changes in government, must be addressed collectively. He revealed that discussions at the meeting also focused on enhancing the capacity of ECOWAS military component, including the proposed standby force.
We members of the armed forces, both in Nigeria and sister African countries, are here to defend democracy, to ensure that democracy thrives well in Africa, and will continue to do that. So we call on them. We know that they cannot do it alone, because insurgency does not respect any border. So that's why it's important for us to work as a team.
In the meantime, the 42nd Ordinary Meeting of ECOWAS Chiefs of Defense Staff has ended in Abuja with commitment to protect democratic governance and fight terrorism, which threatens political stability in the sub-region. Nigeria's Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, regretted the absence of Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger from the meeting and expressed the resolve of the bloc to receive them back. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports.
Member states.
It has been 3 days of critical meeting for ECOWAS defense chiefs, discussing a wide range of issues, including political instability, evolving security threats, and the quest for economic prosperity in the sub-region.
Nigeria has demonstrated its commitment, to West Africa's integrity, West Africa's governance processes, and West Africa's security.
The absence of Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger remains a serious concern to the bloc. The 3 countries withdrew from ECOWAS and formed the Association of Sahel Countries due to political differences, security challenges, and sovereignty concerns.
Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso have been invited. Their flags are flying, but their seats are empty, to show the entire world that we are not enemies. We are brothers, and we look forward to when they will come back safely into ECOWAS.
The ECOWAS defense chiefs visited the National Counter-Terrorism Center in the office of the National Security Advisor.
We hope to partner with our brothers in the West African sub-region and the Sahel in the process of talking on how we're going to come together to address this threat that is really stopping our people from reaping the dividends of democracy.
The 42nd session of the ECOWAS Chief of Defense Staff platform resolved to ensure collective fight against regional security threats and regrets the absence of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Now, Vice President Kashim Shettima has lauded the donation of 1 billion naira to the federal government's food support program and 4,600 units of digital devices for distribution to schools by NTA Nigeria. Now, this was as the Vice President received the chairman of the NTA Nigeria, Ernest Ndukwe, on a courtesy visit at the presidential villa. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports that Vice President Shettima says the gesture by the telecommunications outfit is in support of the government's effort in addressing hardship in the country and worthy of emulation, an indication of commitment to the development of the Nigerian economy. He promised that the donation will be judiciously managed by the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment and the Office of the National Security Advisor. On the distribution of 4,600 digital devices, each pre-installed with the U-Lesson application, the Vice President says the MTN team will liaise with his office to work on the criteria for beneficiaries and facilitate the distribution of the devices to secondary schools in the 6 geopolitical zones. The chairman of MTN Nigeria, Ernest Ndukwe, commended the federal government for reviving the economic fortunes of the country through various initiatives rolled out across ministries, departments and agencies of government. On the 1 billion naira donation, Ndukwe says it is in support of the most vulnerable, marginalized and underserved communities to ensure no one is left behind. In line with President Bola Tinubu's desire to provide quality and affordable housing for civil servants across the nation, Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Dr. Folashade Yemi-Esan, has laid foundation of 216 units of housing project under the Federal Integrated Housing Scheme in Abuja. Let's have details from Harman Jabani.
The Federal Integrated Housing Scheme, sited at the premises of Public Service Institute of Nigeria, will stand on 5.3 hectares of land and will accommodate 216 units of 2- and 3-bedroom apartments. Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Folashade Yemi-Esan, commended the institute while flagging up the fish housing estate, saying it is a great milestone, urging to contractors to ensure the project is speedily completed according to design specifications.
We understand that the earnings of civil servants is not much, so we try as much as possible to get the best quality for the minimum price, and you cannot get those opportunities anywhere else.
While inaugurating a newly built sport complex named after her by the Public Service Institute Management, Dr. Folashade Yemi-Esan called on civil servants to engage in physical exercises to boost their well-being and mental health. Director overseeing the Office of the Permanent Secretary Welfare Service Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, and the Administrator Public Service Institute speak more on the projects.
As we embark on this new phase, we are confident that to the glory of God and by His help, the outcome will be equally successful. In line with other projects that we have done, we anticipate that these new homes will provide comfort, security, and a sense of belonging to the fortunate beneficiaries.
Sport, as we all know, provides a healthy outlet for stress and anxiety and support mental well-being. This is part of our efforts to drive the sports, entertainment, and cultural aspect of the renewed hope agenda.
The fish estate will be allocated to core civil servants. Harman Jabani, NTA News.
Now, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, has interacted with owners of some private broadcast media outfits in Nigeria, where he expressed the belief that now is the right time for media practitioners to reassess their activities of promoting professionalism and national cohesion. This was when the minister led the presidential media team on an advocacy visit in Lagos. Saliu Gwanara was there and now reports.
To these elated media owners, the minister and his team are indeed August visitors in the month of August. This is in furtherance of the presidential media team's advocacy visit to critical stakeholders, particularly those in the media industry. Lessons from the recent protest and the role of the private broadcast media dominated discussions.
We also know that even as you do this task of holding government to account, which is your constitutional role that you are playing, we have to have in Nigeria before we can have a functional Nigerian media. It is incumbent on us to ensure that media is in the forefront of promoting unity, conserving our collective existence, and ensuring that all of us stay in peace.
At Arise, we believe and agree that subsidy must be removed, and agree that there should be a market-driven exchange rate, but not at the same time.
We will make sure that job is done with a lot of responsibility. We will make sure that we're also partners in progress with government. I've often told people who care to ask me that I don't belong to a political party.
Where I feel that a lot of focus should be on, and I feel this is also going to benefit media houses like us, is a regulation of some sort on all these other forms of media. These are the areas these people go to cause to wreak this havoc. That's where the insightful things come out from. They pick a very small video or very little information they have found and twist and twist and twist it.
The government image maker reaffirmed policies on local government autonomy and in critical sectors such as agriculture, health, security, and education, which are efforts towards building a strong foundation for socio-economic prosperity, particularly for the youth.
If people are asking, what has the federal government done with their money? Which is a very legitimate question to ask. People should also ask why the state governments are also doing theirs. Because all of us together make what we call the Nigerian Federation.
The team crisscrossed the head offices of Arise Television, Channels Television, and Television Continental TVC in Lagos. Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
We now take a short break. More stories when we return. Please don't go away.
Imagine lovely meals you can cook with these ingredients. You spend heavily, but no guarantee of a tasty meal. Not making a right choice of seasoning cube can ruin your meal, money, and confidence. For a tasty meal, do not compromise. Choose Gold.
Use Terra Gold for the rich, consistent taste your loved ones crave for. Good for soups, stews, and jollof. Terra Gold. 1 cube, endless possibilities.
In a land of peace and harmony, we cherish our freedom and unity. But around the world, we've seen how protests can spiral into chaos. What starts as a peaceful protest can sometimes end in anarchy, tearing communities apart.
My advice to these young people is please do not take us back to those harrowing days.
So those who experience it will run away from it.
Let's learn from these experiences. Let's value dialogue over destruction. Together, we can build a brighter future. Let's choose unity. Let's choose peace. Join us in the Peaceful Future Initiative, because together we can make a difference.
Welcome back. Nigerian Institute of Public Relations FCT chapter has signed a memorandum of understanding with a private PR firm in Abuja to address the gap in public relations consultancy and employment opportunities in Nigeria. Haman Jabani reports that the MOU is for an initial 2 years.
The role of public relations professionals has evolved over the years. There was a time when it was limited to largely media relations. Now, the role of public relations is to guide organizations and individuals on matters of reputation. It is to achieve this that the Memorandum of Understanding was signed between the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations FCT chapter and a communication management company to see to the establishment of more public relations consultancy firms in Abuja that can address the need of the capital city. Both parties speak on the signing of the MOU that is for initial 2 years.
and then collaborating with other PR agencies to ensure that the public relations needs of various organizations within the FCT and if possible beyond are met. So that is very, very important to us. And what that is going to also do for us is that it's going to build an ecosystem where we are also going to be having mentorship.
Some of the crises that we see today are things that we can deal with if we see communication as the most central aspect of what we do, whether in our private life or in public life. So I'm excited about this.
So there's no challenge with implementing the MOU. Rather, what we are even foreseeing is the likelihood that things are going to come out from this that we do not even envisage at this moment, which will even help to further broaden the scope and what the MOU is going to deliver.
The partnership is expected to create a unique brand that will win the love and loyalty of customers within and outside the FCT. Haman Jabani, NTA News.
Now, Benue State Governor Hyacinth Alia expresses sadness over the news of another what he terms unprovoked attack on Ayati settlement in Ukum local government area, where several people were reportedly killed. In a statement by his chief press secretary, Teso Kula, Governor Alia strongly condemns the attack on unarmed innocent citizens of Benue State by armed bandits, expressing worry that such heinous act has continued in the state despite strong security presence and the regular dialogue sessions his administration has been holding with stakeholders and traditional rulers seeking the return of peace in Sankera. He, however, makes a firm determination to continue to use lawful procedures to protect Benue people, particularly Ukum, which has been on the front line of attacks lately. The governor calls on security personnel to improve their surveillance and also ensure that vulnerable communities are not left unguarded while the government awaits the Judicial Commission of Inquiry to bring out its findings. He condoles families that lost their loved ones in the attack. Now, the National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party has constituted a 25-member National Reconciliation Committee in an attempt to reconcile its aggrieved members. The setting up of the committee follows its approval by the party's National Executive Committee. The list released by the party's National Publicity Secretary, Debo Olugunagba, named former Osun State Governor Prince Olagunsoye Oyinlola as the chairman. Members include former House of Representatives Deputy Speaker Chibodom Nwoche, Senators Ben Ndi Obi, Tunde Ogbea, Shuaibu Isalau, Dr. Zainab Kuri, Kabiru Tanimu, Turaki and Oloye Jumoke Akinjide. Former Governor of Gombe State, Senator Ibrahim Dankwambo, serves as Secretary of the committee.